Hi.
It's an interesting topic about data,
Yeah,
stories from it. I think you have done this for a lifetime from a different perspective, and I've seen it from a different perspective. I think it's going to be an interesting session.
absolutely.
Uh, so to set it up, I thought we will structure it as 5 different questions I had in my head.
Okay,
So I'll just sort of go one by one, and we can
sure.
discuss about this. Before I start, a little bit of story from my side. Okay. So I have a 10-year-old son. He's still learning algebra, fractions, and uh, divisions and multipliers. I'm also interacting with my team members who is doing advanced analytics, correlations, and differential equations. In my earlier job, running Mindshare, we used to do a lot of analytics on uh, awareness-based modeling and other stuff. In all the 3 situations, the best way I could have explained the mathematical model is through cricket. I don't think in any other way even my son could understand it. He's a Virat Kohli fan. The moment I tell him about Virat Kohli's batting average, he understands averages. Normal mathematics couldn't help him see it through. Similarly, when you say a law of averages, you get it when a batsman is not scoring well, or when a batsman is scoring a duck. But if you remove cricket from it, if you explain law of averages, nobody gets it. Okay. I think the stories from data is incredible from that perspective,
Absolutely.
right? And you have done it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So before I start discussing about these 4 or 5 points, just you can set it up a context on what you do and what's been inspiring you in doing this for such a long time, and some anecdotes about your personal experiences that will set the stage for us now.
Sure. Yeah, I was a aspiring cricketer, wanting to play for the country, and I went on to represent the country in a very different way. I was the first performance analyst for the Indian cricket team. So when I entered the team in way back in 2003, nobody really understood what we were doing and what is the role of an analyst, or what is a guy with a computer doing in the dressing room. Was the question then. Sorry. So I had to really educate people on what the role of an analyst is and what is the value add we can bring in. And fortunately for me, I started off in 2003 with the team. Balaji and me made the debut at the same time. He as a player and me as an analyst. And Australia tour, Steve was last series. Test series was the first trip, and I asked Rahul Dravid as to how the team prepares for the games. They said, no, Ramki, we just pass on. We played against them and we pass on our knowledge. And so I said, can somebody get me some tapes of the Ashes series? And I would like to start from there. And Saurav came to Australia armed with 25 VHS tapes. Those days it was a VHS tape. Yeah. So my first week in Australia was spent on digitizing those VHS tapes and mining that information, producing the insights. So for the first time in the history of Indian cricket, opposition intelligence was served in a very visual manner. So that really set up, and suddenly we broke the myth that even though I have not played cricket at the India level, I can still contribute to the team's planning and strategy. So that was not acceptable, actually. Initially, there was a lot of resistance and people saying, hey, what level of cricket have you played? But once we started delivering value and they were able to see that, the situation became very, very different after that. So it is all about collecting data, mining that, getting the insights, converting finding the golden nuggets. And once it starts working, their confidence in you becomes very, very high. So that's how it started. And of late, we started off. Prior to the Indian team, I was more on the using data for skill development. I analyzed about 100,000 cricketers in the company of all the top coaches in the world, and players at the grassroots level to international players. We worked with them, and we have contributed to the success. And that's how I went to the Indian team, and so it was more of skill development. Once I joined the team, it is more of game strategy and planning, so opposition intelligence and all that. And then we realized that when the IPL started, IPL auction, people are spending 125 crores based on just gut feel and intuition. And how data can be useful in that as well, in terms of scouting, in terms of your selection, in terms of how do you measure performance in a very different way. So it's not about, the old way of doing things in terms of average runs, strike rate and all that. But in terms of how do you go deeper and see the contribution to the momentum swing of the player, ball by ball. So it's not his personal score, but his contribution to the momentum and contribution to the team's success, which is measured differently. And then we realized that we've been providing analytics for the team to help them with the skill development, to help them in their selection, auction. And then we also realized that it can be used for game strategy and playbook. Winning with data was a concept which we evolved over a period of time, and then we realized that it can be used for fan engagement as well. So the kind of storytelling which can be told with data is very, very different. The way you experience a sport or you enable somebody to experience the sport is very, very difficult. And like Gautaman was saying, data can be used for, we thought it was only these 4 purposes, but today I learned that we can teach math also, or even the physics, can be taught through cricket. And cricket teaches you a lot of life skills. You don't need to join Art of Living at 40 if you play the sport. And if you play any sport, life skills are learnt along the way. So a lot of benefits around that.
So let me just quickly move into those 5 themes I just want to talk to you about. Right? The first one, Ramki, is about how do you create an helicopter shot, right? So and similar such innovations that comes in sport. I have to resort to cricket because it's easy for us to resort to it. There can be in any other things as well. If the old data is going to be used to better yourself, the kind of a stroke you make, the consistent cover drives, the consistent way in which you bowl, and how will you suddenly bring in this new Bumrah's bowling angle or Dhoni's helicopter shot? How will data pick up, or will the players see this repeated performance and say, I have not seen such thing like this, can I try it out? Have you seen such examples?
A lot of, everybody has patterns.
Right.
It's all about studying patterns through data. And like you say, okay, if you bowl a short ball to Sehwag, he's going to cut you anywhere from third man to cover point and covers. Whereas if you bowl the same ball to Rahul Dravid or a Jack Callis, they're going to punch you to cover point to covers. So everybody has a pattern, and if you're able to study the pattern and then exploit the chinks in the armory. Like for instance, I remember out of 10 innings, Jayasuriya, we got him out in 7 innings in the first 3 overs. And Jayasuriya's head was falling over. And people whose head fall over, they are susceptible to, they're an LBW candidate or chase balls wide or off stump. So Agarkar used to get the ball back in and used to get him LBW. Irfan Pathan used to get the ball out and get him out caught behind or in the slips. So if you're getting a batsman like Jayasuriya out within the first 3 overs, then the data is so valuable. Okay, and you are able to say that. It's funny. Sehwag and Sachin used to get out and sit next to me, and they used to predict every ball, every behavior pattern of the bowler, the batsman. They'll say the bowler is going to do this, the batsman is going to do this, and they were almost 99% correct. Right? And we are saying the same thing. We are elevating ourselves to that level just by data, by interpreting the data in the right manner. And that's how powerful it is there in skill development and in game strategy and game preparation. That's very, very valuable. Of course, a lot of things around that in terms of there is an explosion of data happening around the athlete today.
We'll come to that. I think the point which I was trying to get to is, if you look at the way the commentators are today, well informed before the match begins. That was not the case even 15, 20 years back, right? Because the commentators now come well prepared with the insights they have about the players, the statistics that comes with them already, right? So I still want to spend more time on this instinct versus insight. How do players, because I'm sure you're working with most of them, that if everybody starts finding the way in which Jayasurya can be made out or Ganguly can be knocked off, where does insight stop and where does instinct come in from a cricket player? And I'm just trying to flip the narrative.
Sure, there is a randomness to performance. You can't predict everything. The great players work around.
Right.
It's not that I have the data of Sachin Tendulkar and I can get him out every time. And he also knows that people are collecting data and he knows how to work around them. And that's the, the brilliance of each athlete,
Right.
how they overcome that and work around the plans made. You basically want the athlete, the player to do something different than their norm. Like Sehwag is only cutting, he's looking for the cut. Don't give him for the cut.
Yeah.
And then see what happens. I mean, he's forced to do something different. And I remember Australia, they had a sweeper cover in Test cricket, which is something very, very new. The opening over, the sweeper cover was there for Gillespie and Britley. And, and that curtailed Sehwag's run scoring pattern. And instead of getting a boundary, he's getting only one run. So that actually worked on his mind. So everything you do to change people's patterns. And some of the greats always work around. They work around. It's not that if you have the data, you're 100% going to succeed. Yes, if you have the data, it increases your chances of success. And that's what it is. You can't really predict because there is a randomness to performance. There's much more to performance than just your data.
That's true.
And some of the data you're not able to collect. I mean, what happens in their mind, or how they have prepared, how they have slept in the night, what food they have eaten. There's so much to performance. It's not just about data, and the data you don't have access to those kind of data. But from you can use it as a guideline and make things difficult. And whether it is a Test cricket or ODI or T20, it's all about the first 10 balls or 20 balls.
Right.
You have to get them early, otherwise once they get the eye in, they're going to clobber you all over the park. So that's what it is.
I mean, it's an interesting one for the audience as well. When I first met him, he was talking about how great batsmen come to him for advice on perfecting a cover drive because you keep playing it, you make a mistake, and suddenly you don't know that your left foot is slightly on the left side, right? Why don't you talk about it, Ramki, and how do they train for that?
Yeah, I think a couple of milestones in my career, I would say, big ones. One was when Sehwag dedicated his triple century to me in Multan. And he was not performing well in Pakistan he was not getting runs. So I was analyzing his videos manually. I was looking at the old videos when he was doing well and he was not doing well. And his spline angle actually had come down from 45 degrees to 30 degrees. So he was crouching more, getting stuck with the ball coming into his body. And people were exploiting that. And we brought to his awareness. And I asked, those days we didn't have internet or mobile. So I had the pleasure of, calling him to my room and making the top players wait outside my room also. So I asked, are you working on your stance? He said, no. And then I said, why don't you come over? And Sehwag came in and, we discussed for a couple of hours and I brought to his notice. And then he went on to remodel and went on to score the 100 in Multan. So that is one in cricket. And the other one was in high jump. I didn't know anything about high jump, but I went to Sports Authority of India and asked them, can you tell me somebody who is not likely to qualify for Olympics?
Right.
And any athlete who is not likely, I want to do a pilot run. And they said Sahana Kumari, she is not expected to qualify for Olympics. So this is a London Olympics, and so I worked with her in Patiala, NS Patiala. We did about 350 jumps of us, and we found a pattern. I didn't know anything about high jump, but we found a pattern that every time she was hitting the bar, her takeoff point was close to the bar.
Wow.
So with just a handycam, we were able to bring this flaw to the attention of the coach and the athlete, and they were in naked eye coaching. Naked eye coaching has its own limitations, but that is what was available those days. And within a month, she was able to remodel, and she qualified for Olympics. So we just enabled somebody to qualify for Olympics with just a handycam.
Incredible.
So these are the big ones, and it reiterated the thought that how data can be used as a tool to whether it is a skill development or game strategy or selection or fan engagement, how data can be used.
Incredible, incredible. I'm just going to shift it to the next stage, Ramki. It's something we both are trying to solve a problem, my passion point as well. Fan engagement, right? For a good long period of time, players' performance data was only given to the players for them to improve, like what we spoke about so far. Suddenly now those things are now coming out as flashcards for consumers to collect and build their own team, because this information gives them to say the best team can be assembled with many other handicaps or many other preferences, and then you now started building your own Dream 11 teams or many other teams, right, and slowly moving into the fan engagement stage. How much of this data is publicly available, and how much of this data is sellable, and how much of this data is now going to be used in the public domain for fans to start engaging with it? You and I talk about it a lot, but I just thought we should just pick it up as an important
So
point.
today, content is the king, right? And everybody is looking for content, and there is we as a company have about 20 years of ball-by-ball data in cricket, and we have about 500 terabytes of audio, video with audio commentary, and there is no AI without data. There is no AI without domain expertise. So combining both, along with the AI, there's a tremendous possibility to build a cricket-specific LLM, which can power a cricket CMS, and there is a lot of things which can be useful for, like for instance, I can get into the broadcast room and immediately serve content. If I have access to all the cameras, the 50 cameras which are used in IPL, if I have access to that, and if I have access to the text, if I have access to the commentary with the audio, all these three, text, commentary, and or text, audio, and video, there is so much of content which can be generated. In fact, we went to Star TV once, and I remember the meeting that I told them that there are about 50 cameras being used, and only one goes on air. So please allow me to sit down the drain and collect all those videos, repurpose the videos, create new content. And there is a cricket-hungry country which is there, which is looking for any sort of content. And people, the consumption patterns of the fans have changed. Everybody wants snackable content. How do you create this snackable content? Because at the flick of a finger, they're off to the next destination if your content is not interesting. So how do you capture their imagination within the first 5 seconds or 2 seconds and drag them in, make them more immersive? How do you increase the dwell time on the app with very interactive content? And there's so much which can do from data alone, because the V of video, everybody says rights, and it's expensive, very expensive for the but the kind of fan experience one can experience in a game is completely different today than what it was earlier. And people were going gaga or live streaming, which is like a VCR of old days, right? And today it is an interactive video. It's all about the interactive video services which are being run by the AWS. We have developed our own interactive video scorecard where you enable the fan to watch whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and however he wants it. So you don't need to spend 8 hours, and nobody spends 8 hours watching a game, even if you give them all the perks to watch it. Still, you'll find very few people sitting there and watching that. And so this is on the fly, on the go, on the mobile, how you can throw the hooks at the fans and how do you personalize, hyper personalize the content? And that's where I wanted to bring in your innovation around what you're doing around the fan tokenization and how that can help personalize the content in a very different way.
Yeah, it's a virgin territory. It's still not yet taken off, which is why the point I was trying to raise is who owns this data and how do you control this? Because I'm sure all Indian cricket's information is going to be with BCCI, and so will be with individual agency industry bodies, isn't it?
The data
So
part
it's
of it is ours, because I'm collecting the data from a public domain. I'm watching the video and collecting more using my expertise and skill sets. So the
Right.
data belongs to us, and that's the base of our. That's a foundation for us to build our foundation model in cricket and power the CMS, cricket specific CMS today.
Got it.
And so the content which can be generated real live, and the kind of interaction, the gamification of it, so many use cases around the same content.
Yeah, so let's talk something more about fan engagement as well. I think it's my pet topic, which I've been spending a lot of time to see how we can democratize it instead of just residing with a few players or a few industry bodies only. This particular space of AI-led innovation, if I have to overlay that onto what you are trying to do, technically we can create your own Bumrah versus Jack Callis.
You can simulate.
I'm just trying to cut off all the timelines as well,
Yeah.
because you can be an old player, Gary Sobers, facing Jasprit Bumrah.
Absolutely.
And you can look at all the data sets you have about the perfection of Gary Sobers versus perfection of Bumrah, and you can actually have a match. That's incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you're able to reconstruct, you can have Bumrah versus Donald Bradman if you have the ball by ball data. How Bumrah could have performed well against Bradman. And those kind of experiences are what we are talking about. What we are today, in India again is a sports viewing population. It's not a
Yeah.
sport playing population. So with just with such a large viewership and predominantly around cricket, so the kind of possibilities around what the content today which is being served and what can be served is completely different. And with the technology advancements, what you have, like with the AI, you can have a conversational piece where you just talk into the system saying, okay, and you can have, let's say, Bumrah versus Rohit Sharma, what will be the outcome, what is the kind of field set I should have. I mean, it gave me, it actually punctured my ego. So I was doing this for 20 years and trying to help at the elite level. And suddenly this ChatGPT comes, and I just wanted to test it and said, okay, asked it to prepare a strategy document against Virat Kohli in Australia, playing in Perth against a new ball. And it gave me a completely different strategy document, which I couldn't have written. So it was writing better than me, and that too with publicly available data. So just imagine if we are providing our collected data and also crowdsourcing the data about Virat Kohli, what Gavaskar is talking about, what Ravi Shastri is talking about, what Ian Chappell is talking about, what Greg Chappell is talking about. I mean, you can go on and build the storyline, and it is amazing. Not only for even for the journalists there, it becomes fantastic aid, because we don't say artificial intelligence, we say augmented intelligence. So how do you augment somebody's intelligence, whether it's a coach, whether it's a journalist, whether it's a selector, or it's a player, or a administrator. So it's all about augmenting their intelligence, using data to a telling effect. And I think selection is a very, very important aspect, and the more manipulated it is, people, it's very subjective, and there has been a lot of court cases, been a lot of controversies around selection, and it keeps happening. So we've been trying to change the selection process, because earlier we had only the summary of the scorecard, and in one of the associations, earlier they were using the box scorecard, and there was a player who didn't play the game, but the scorecard showed him as playing the game and scoring 100. And that was used for selection. So, now with the online scoring, which we have provided for the BCCI games and all that, today all those manipulations are avoided or minimized to a great extent. So the authenticity of the data is maintained, and it all depends upon. And I think there is a lot of career opportunities for cricketers,
Yeah.
because you send a scorer. People started sending scorers to document the game, but the outcome of that is to document the game, and it provides some inputs for selection.
Yeah.
But from a coaching perspective, there is nothing collected. So there is nobody collecting data from a coaching perspective. And that is what we are saying when you're talking about coaching. I am not of the old traditional way of coaching where people come and tell you how to bat or how to bowl. We are coming same coaching. We are trying to transform into a data-driven coaching, where it's completely based on data. As a cricketer, I thought I have to go and watch a player play in games. And then I realized with the video getting well developed, I can compare. I can see it in slow motion. I can see it again and again and all that. Then with the internet getting developed, I realized that I can do it from anywhere in the world. And with experience now, I realize that I don't need to go and watch a game. I don't need to watch thousands of videos. If I have data at a very granular level, I can provide better insight than the first two. So today, the coaching concept itself, the methodology, how we can accelerate skill development, has completely changed because of data.
Okay, now I'm going to switch to a controversial topic on this. This much abundance of data, and I know betting is not allowed in India, but can also be abused for alternative forms of income, both by the players and by the spectators, primarily because almost all of them are now becoming spectator sports. Otherwise, there's no money in the system. This data is being used for broadcasting, rights are being built on viewership, and players also know that they are being watched and they act sometimes on the screen.
Yep.
And this information is also leading to predicting results and to betting. Where do you want to draw a line in this? Is it possible or it is out of hand?
As I said, there is a randomness to performance. You can't predict everything. You can predict to a great extent, but not completely. Yes, the bookies have the most sophisticated, algorithms.
As much as we all can build as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So, they have their own ways of doing things, and their expertise, that is another expertise for them to build on. And of course, it's not legal in India, but wherever it is legal, they definitely do that. But in terms of the ICC, the BCCI have taken strong measures to regulate, and that's most important, because the reputation of the tournament, one small complaint and the tournament can get destroyed. The confidence of the fans is very, very important. You have to put the fan at the center of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And if you want to build an economy around a sport, you have to build an economy around the sport. Today there are talk about cricket killing other sports, but I just say that, other administrators have not done enough to market the sport.
Very true.
So sports marketing is non-existent in our country. And I think next 10 years, I think there is a lot which will change. There are a lot more opportunities, a lot more employment opportunities for athletes, because you need content collectors. Just like you're sending the scorers for every game. If I send a content collector, somebody is scoring 100 in a school game, you take a bite of him and put it on the website of BCCI, look at his motivation levels. And suddenly he becomes like Suryavansh. He has become a household name today, right? It's because of that exposure and of course his performance deserved it, but the digital channels carried it very much, and today everybody knows about him.
Interesting. So, it is now I just need your personal advice to me on front of stage. It's good for me to get something from him, otherwise I don't get time from him. If you typically have to build a fantastic sports intelligence platform, what do you think are the key features that should cover?
I think it's a unified sports platform which I'm thinking around, which can change the sports operations, the governance part of it, the operations part of it, the compliance part of it on one side, the sports operations side of it, the coaching, high performance talent management on one side, and the third, the most important, the fan engagement side of it. I think there is tremendous possibility of using data, using AI on top of it, or Gen AI on top of it, and create an agentic workflow for all the sports operations.
Yep.
Tremendous possibilities. In terms of the fan engagement, the stories. You just have thousands of stories every ball. So primarily, you have to develop an algorithm which can rank the story so that you know which one is important for that particular ball, because the story changes after the next ball. One has reached a milestone, and then the story changes for the next ball. So the timeliness of the push. Today, we are all searching for content, right? And we have to really today chase the data. Whereas we want to reverse it, saying the data should chase you. If you are a fan and you're giving me a permission to enter your mobile, then I'll have to chase you, I'll have to push your content with what I think will be relevant for you. And for that, I need to get your preferences, I need to get your viewing data, and so that I can personalize the content and serve you through the contextual channel. So he may be watching on Instagram, I may be watching on Facebook, somebody may be watching on Twitter, and how do we push Rohit Sharma's content to him through the preferred channels of communication. So you have multiple channels of communication today, fan destinations. It's not, people come and say, okay, I want to build a website, I want to build a mobile app. No, it's not about that. It's about building a fan destination and having multiple channels to serve content, contextual content through the right channel and keep them engaged. It's about owning the fan also.
Yeah,
it's all about, today people are outsourcing fan engagement, which I think is not a great option. Because just look at the valuation of CSK if they own the 20 million fans they have on their own platform, digital platforms. But I don't know why people have not taken that effort of building that platform. Earlier it was difficult, but today you're spoiled for choices. So there are so many service providers who can provide you with whatever you want, and you can build the valuation.
Good. So I think I just want to open it to the audiences to ask some questions as well. But what I really I feel about it when Ramki and I keep chatting about this is, there is no other event like sports that can really bring data to life in a responsible manner, Ramki. Whether it's the application of AI or the application of using data for healthcare products. Quite a few sportsmen have used this data to take care of their own health as well. Monetizing data, model building, artificial intelligence, responsible use of data. I think it's the fantastic test bed for many of the innovations for many other industries to replicate and copy, and that's been our passion for both of us. So with this, I'll just leave it to the stage for asking a few questions. You will never get time with him. might as well grab him as much as possible today. Yeah, over to you guys.
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Amol here. You have told about Sehwag. Is there any cricketer, which your analysis helped him to save his career? If there any story?
Of course.
Data-driven.
If you go into my YouTube channel, there are about 4 or 5 legends who are talking about how my contributions helped them in their career, including Sehwag, including Sachin, including Sehwag was about to be dropped before that Multan 300. So consecutive failures, and suddenly this realization and remodeling, and then helped him resurrect his career. It's sometimes it may be because of other reasons. In this case, there is a change in his technical flaw in a technique, and small changes creep into your technique without your knowledge. And with the naked eye coaching, it is difficult to identify. And people keep playing without knowing what they are doing, because they don't have the time to really work on their basics and perfect there, because you're in the circuit and you don't have time to practice and all that. So it's about identifying that and eliminating that at a very quick time, because you don't have time. So very quickly they have to remodel and come back and get back to normalcy.
Sorry.
So it's whether it is Zahir Khan, whether it's Harbhajan Singh, Balaji. Balaji, we spent about 800 hours one-on-one remodeling his technique because he had a mixed action. And he didn't listen. I mean, that's a thing. He came and told me that, Ramki, if I'd listened to you in 2003, I would not have had a metal chip in my back. And so I tried my best to change him, but he said that I come to the Indian team bowling with this action, why should I change? So change is the only thing which is constant, right? And if you want to go to the next level and if you don't want to change, so that is a predicament for any coach out there, whether to intervene, not to intervene. Being a natural cricketer, like if Dhoni had gone to a cricket academy, formal academy, we would not have had a Dhoni or a Azharuddin. These are special players who they have their own way of playing things, right? It's not about everybody playing the copybook. Probably Srikanth was the one who really broke the myth that you have to play in one style. Correct. So from our country, I think there is and today we have, sometimes I really wonder how, what kind of advice will Rahul Dravid give a Surya Kumar Yadav? So he's the guy who's playing like this and all that. And Rahul Dravid is the one who plays very straight. So it was very interesting to see their conversations, and that is the thing which Rahul Dravid said, that he was using the data for initiating the conversations with the player. And once the player knows that the coach is armed with the data and he's done his homework, then he is able to converse with him in a very productive manner.
Hi sir, this is Aditya here. I run a gaming company and I'm venturing into sports. So we were experimenting with the sensor. I want to understand what exactly the parameters are there which can actually benefit a grassroots level athlete, because there are a lot of companies out there, the big ones, which are serving the tier 1 athletes, but when the LTAD which happens at the early stage for an athlete, you need maybe economical sensors or maybe some major parameters which can help that particular person.
See, I completely agree with you that everybody needs data and everybody needs to be monitored, analyzed, and then you work on the remodeling them or if necessary. And also you have to be careful around using the data and not curtailing their natural abilities, like I talked about Dhoni or Azharuddin or a Bumrah. For his action is the most difficult action. So you have to allow the natural talent to flower. And at the grassroots level, the data collected is not even collected. Even at the elite level, is not being collected. And if you're talking about sensors, sensors is one of the way where we can generate content. The videos can generate content, the sensors can generate content, the human naked eye observations can generate the content. So it's all about putting all the content together and generating the intelligence around it. And I think that will definitely accelerate the development life cycle of the athlete. See, it took me 15 years for me to mature as a cricketer. I went up to the state, junior state level, but it took me 15 years for that. And I think I trained professionally and invested a lot of hours in it. But with today's possibility, can we reduce the development life cycle? Yeah. With the sensors, with the data, what we have. I mean, imagine, the high jump I told about, with just a handicap, we were able to enable somebody to qualify for Olympics. And with the additional sensors, about all the other AI tools which you have, I mean, there is a whole lot of possibilities around how we can accelerate outcomes. Because at the school level, people generally, the parents don't have time, and they don't want to allow the kids to play beyond the 10th standard, right? So you had to produce quick results, and if your coaching methodologies are all the same old traditional naked eye coaching, which is just it's more a daycare center where 50 kids are playing and there is one person standing there. There are about 25 million kids playing cricket in this country, 8 to 19. 25 million. Wow. and the number of coaches is only 3,000. Accredited coaches only 3,000.
There's so much space.
Even if he has 1:100 coaches trainee ratio, which is very, very high, you need 250,000 coaches. And talking about cricket, other sports, you can imagine where it is. And most of the coaching still are at the old ways of traditional ways of doing things, because
Very true.
coaching community is very, very rigid in embracing anything new. So you need a lot of coaches education to transition coaching from naked eye coaching to visual based coaching to data driven coaching. And I'm sure there can be fantastic talent produced from anywhere in the world. I mean, your coach can be anywhere in the world, and you can be in a remote village in India, sending your videos, and your coach can be anywhere in the world and giving you insights. Or the AI is going to today you can have your coach, your personal coach, on your mobile, guiding you daily and giving you insights which an expert cannot give. Those kind of possibilities are today, and how we are going to leverage all these tools and get the outcomes generated.
Huge opportunity. I think he had a question.
Hello, sir. My name is Siddesh. Just wanted to know any example where you have used audience engagement data, audience emotions data, to where it has helped you getting more audience. I mean, promoting sports or promoting event.
I think G-Man is the best person to answer that question.
No, good question. We're struggling to get the data, actually, to be honest, right? So today we are dependent on broadcast signals, viewership data only, nothing more. And that data, as I was trying to prod Ramki to answer the question, belongs to BCCI or other broadcasters. Neither do they monetize it, nor are they giving it out for monetization. So there is an opportunity, but it's not in the pecking order for them as priority, because they're already filled with rights monies, right? So we are trying to provoke them to open up so that it can be used for creating a virtuous cycle of more fans, more engagement, more fans, more engagement. But that's our pain point right now, and we're trying to open the doors. But things are very comfortable where they are today, primarily because still there is so much content to monetize it. Loads of content, like what he was talking about. Every single story can be created into a content on YouTube or on any other broadcasting channels right now, or on apps, or by anybody else, like Kuti Stories, right? Our appetite is satiated not enough from that perspective. We still don't have a method to the madness. That's an open question today in the world.
Yeah, I think in the emotion side of it, we can use all the tools available on the social media, do a sentiment analysis, and then come up with some intelligence around that. And there is a good possibility to do it. And there are some people who are coming up with sensors, wearables, where you wear a T-shirt and watch a game, and then your emotions are...
Again, the qualitative data you're talking about, no?
Pardon?
Qualitative sample you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you can even take likes and responses and everything else, but those belongs to the platform, not to the franchise. And they don't talk to each other in a manner and can be used meaningfully as well. So there is a huge opportunity there, but people are comfortable where they are today.
I think there's a whole new role also available where if somebody wants to looking at a new career option, then a fan sentiment officer is one of that, where you're fueling the fan banter and creating the community, building the community in an accelerated manner. So I think there is a lot of opportunities like these which are coming up. And a lot of youngsters are really chasing all those. And I think that's a fantastic role of building up the fan sentiment, building up the community in a very intelligent manner, and coupled with their platform and how you can really create a smart community which you can leverage for multiple monetization opportunities.
Thank you. Sorry.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
My name is Sanket Shirge. I am music composer and singer. But I learned a lot more patience level from Rahul Dravid playing. So, since you have worked with him, can you explain more about him?
Oh yeah, he's a great individual, very passionate. Even if he gets a a ball beaten in the nets, he will mentally rehearse that during the travel to the hotel. He will mentally rehearse that 1,000 times of just one ball beaten. So such is the intensity of that person.
Yeah.
Very, very intensive, very, in fact, he took a long time to recover after the 2017 World Cup and lost. And, he was locked inside his room for 3 days. And, I had to take him out through the kitchen and took him out for a movie just to help him recover fast. So highly intense person, very dedicated, very committed, a solid example. These are examples of how they become a success, because in India the adulation is so high it can sweep you off your feet. If you're not, then they are well grounded, and these are people who have the discipline, mental discipline to sleep at 9:30, 10. Not get distracted by small things, because you get called by your sponsors, by your girlfriends, by your family for a dinner, and all of that eats into your preparation time. And whether it's a Sachin Tendulkar or a debutant, the preparation time remains the same. And the successful ones are the ones who have developed those routines, pre-match routines, and have done it consistently for a period of time. That's why they existed for 15 years. Otherwise, you have all these one series wonders who come and flower, and then suddenly they lose their way. They are not grounded. They get distracted, and they lose their way. That's why there are a lot of talent which is coming up, but then they lose their way and they are not available for us.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Viru, for the opportunity.
Thanks, everyone.
Many questions,
That was indeed an engaging finale to our second day, where creativity met competition and insights met inspiration. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Viru sir, may I please request you to come on stage for one last time to share a small token of appreciation and gratitude with our panelists. It's a small Rotary certificate which is in line with the sustainability initiatives at Nuremberg Messe, India.